Little Vinayak was a little elephant. An unhappy little elephant. He had the most peculiar problem. He kept tripping on his trunk. He tripped on his trunk at least 100 times every day. A week ago, he had heard Dr. Hippo tell his ma that his trunk was just a wee bit too long. And that was a problem. "What can I do, Ma?" wailed Vinayak. Poor Ma, what could she do? Dr. Hippo had not offered any cure. "Come here, Vinu," she called. She gathered Vinayak's long trunk and tied it into a huge knot. "Yippee!" shouted Vinayak, excited that he could run. "Oh, thank you, Ma," he said, giving his mother a kiss with his knotted trunk. He ran, he jumped, he skipped, but soon the knot loosened and came undone. "Dharam!" Vinayak stumbled and fell. "You clumsy oaf!" scolded his grandfather, waving his perfect trunk. A large pool of tears formed around Vinayak's trunk. His cousins laughed. Some of them teased. "I have an idea," cried Mika the monkey. Mika was Vinayak's friend. He never teased Vinayak and was the only one who understood his problem. "Come with me, Vinayak," Mika said. Vinayak followed Mika, stumbling and falling along the way until they reached the forest lake. "Dip your trunk into the lake, Vinayak," said Mika. "Leave it there for a few hours. The water will shrink it." So Vinayak stood beside the lake and dipped his trunk into it. Soon his legs grew tired and he sat down. The sun went down and the sky grew dark. "Vinu! Vinu! Vinayak!" he heard his mother call. "Time to go home!" Vinayak got up slowly and removed his trunk from the water. He saw it shriveled and wrinkly. "It shrunk! It shrunk!" he burst out happily. "Yippee! Thank you, Mika!" he cried. He waved his trunk up and down and ran about. But soon, the trunk dried in the air. Away went the wrinkles, and away went the shrivels. The trunk grew long again, and he stepped on it. Dharam! Vinayak fell again. "Never mind, Vinu," consoled Ma. "We will find a way. Come, let's go home now." Little Vinayak twined his trunk around Ma's tail and unhappily followed her home. Vinayak couldn't sleep that night. He kept looking at his trunk and wished that it would go away. Why did he have to have such a long trunk? Why couldn't he have a normal trunk just like everyone else? Early the next morning, Vinayak got up and stumbled to Mika's house. Mika, Mika, wake up, he called. You've just got to help me. Oh, Vinayak, come here. Let me see what I can do, offered Mika. Mika took the free end of Vinayak's trunk. He rolled it like a mat inwards. The trunk unrolled. Mika then rolled it outwards. The trunk unrolled again. He folded the trunk. It unfolded. He twisted the trunk. It untwisted. He knotted it again. The knot came undone. Each time the trunk fell and got caught between Vinayak's legs. And each time Vinayak fell. Dharam, dharam, dharam. Vinayak was sore. His bum hurt. His feet ached. He was tired and fed up of his trunk.
Thadam, thadam, I slip over my long trunk. I trip. Thadam, thadam, my trunk is too long. Something's amiss, something's wrong. I wish I could walk with grace and style. I wish I could walk with grace and style. I wish I could move with a swing and smile. But thadam, thadam, I trip, I fall. Why can't I be normal like all? Thadam, thadam, I slip. Over my long trunk I trip. Thadam, thadam, my trunk is too long. Something's amiss, something's wrong.
At this time, an unusual guest arrived in the forest. It was Tembo. From the time he was born, Vinayak and his brothers had heard many stories about Tembo, the largest elephant that ever roamed the forest. Strange whispers continuously floated in the jungle about Tembo's strength and size. But when Vinayak actually saw Tembo, he was taken completely by surprise. Yes, Tembo was huge. He was larger than Dr. Hippo and broader than Vinayak's old aunt. But the most incredible thing was that Tembo had a trunk that was unusually long, much, much longer than Vinayak could ever imagine. It was unending, stretching, and really, really long. Even little Vinayak's grandfather, who had lived a great many years and had seen a great many things, looked at Tembo and his trunk with wonder. Yet this large elephant moved with the greatest ease. He never stumbled and never fell. Little Vinayak watched stunned. The others gasped in awe. Vinayak ran to him, stumbling and falling as he went. "Excuse me, Mr. Big Elephant Creature," Vinayak said breathlessly. How do you do it?" "Do what, little one?" asked Tembo softly. Vinayak strained to catch the big animal's voice. For a creature so big, Tembo's voice was the merest whisper. Oh, how do you manage not to trip?" asked Vinayak. "Your trunk is so long, and you're so big, but still you never fall? How?" "Would you like to learn, child?" asked Tembo ever so softly. Vinayak nodded eagerly, waving his trunk up and down. "Yes, oh yes," he burst out. "Come, little one," Tembo invited. "Stand beside me and do what I do." Little Vinayak stood beside Tembo in complete attention. The trick is to manage the problem, not to let the problem manage you. "Huh?" asked Vinayak, raising his eyebrow, confused. "Move the way I do. Watch your front legs," Tembo instructed Little Vinayak. "Put out your right foot first. Swing your trunk to the left. Left foot next. Swing your trunk to the right." Vinayak followed the enormous pachyderm. As he moved his little body, Vinayak swung his trunk left and right. "Why, it's like a dance," thought Vinayak. He sang aloud.
Put your right foot out.
Put your right foot out.
Swing your trunk to the left.
Swing your trunk to the left.
Put your left foot out.
Put your left foot out.
Swing your trunk to the right.
Swing your trunk to the right.
Put your right foot out. Swing your trunk to the left. Put your left foot out. Swing your trunk to the right. Do it to the beat with a step and a swing. Right foot, trunk left. Left foot, trunk right. Put your right foot out. Swing your trunk to the left. Put your left foot out. Swing your trunk to the right.
Singing, swaying, and stepping, he was so intent on his steps that Vinayak did not realize he had moved past 2 mango trees without falling even once. Mika clapped excitedly. "You've got it, Vinayak, you've got it!" "By Ganpati, I have got it," thought Vinayak. "When stop," said the big one. As Vinayak stopped mid-song, the trunk got caught in his feet. Then dhadam! He fell again. "You've almost got it, little Vinayak," said Tembo. "You just need to learn how to stop. Come, follow me one more time." Tembo swayed his endless nose and began his walk. Gracefully, he swung and sang.
When you wish to stop, bring your feet together, curl your trunk up tight, and you come to a halt.
Put your right foot out. Swing your trunk to the left. Put your left foot out. Swing your trunk to the right. Do
thrilled. Let me try, let me try, he shouted eagerly. He began his song. He chanted and walked, sang and walked, swayed and walked, and never did he fall. Everyone gathered to watch this spectacle. And when Tembo shouted stop, Vinayak sang, feet together, curled trunk tight, and came to a perfect halt. All the animals cheered. That night there was a big party. Together with the moon smiling and the stars twinkling and Mika clapping, Little Vinayak and Big Tembo sang their song and danced their very special dance. And now, even we know why baby elephants never trip on their trunks, don't we? For even if the trunks are long, they have learned the special dance from our Little Vinayak.
Over my long trunk I trip, ta-dam, ta-dam, my trunk is too long. Something's amiss, something's wrong. I wish I could walk with grace and style. I wish, I wish, I wish, I wish I could walk with grace and style. I wish I could move with a swing and smile. But ta-dam, ta-dam, I trip, I fall. Why can't I be normal like all? Ta-dam, ta-dam, I slip, over my long trunk I trip, ta-dam, ta-dam, my trunk is too long. Something's amiss, something's wrong.
Put your right foot out.
Put your right foot out.
Swing your trunk to the left.
Swing your trunk to the left.
Put your left foot out.
Put your left foot out.
Swing your trunk to the right.
Swing your trunk to the right.
Put your right foot out. Swing your trunk to the left. Put your left foot out. Swing your trunk to the right. Do it to the beat with a step and a swing. Right foot, trunk left. Left foot, trunk right. Put your right foot out. Swing your trunk to the left. Put your left foot out. Swing your trunk to the right.
Akiro was a Japanese boy who drew cats. Now, there's nothing wrong with drawing cats. Lots of people draw cats. But Akiro was different. He drew only cats. Nothing but cats. No dogs, no horses, no houses, mountains, flowers, or people. Only cats. And he drew them all the time. His brothers and sisters helped their parents in the fields, but Akiro sat at the edge of the field drawing cats in the wet mud. After a day's work, everyone ate rice and fish hungrily, but Akiro drew cats with the rice and tried to coax his rice cats to eat the fish. And when the cats did not eat the fish, he wept and refused to have his supper. His mother was fed up. His father was in despair. "What do we do with the boy?" they asked each other. They could not understand this quiet son of theirs, who had started drawing cats as soon as he was old enough to draw. "Why do you draw cats all the time?" his mother asked him one day. "You see, Mother," Akiro told her solemnly, "I have to keep practicing until I draw the perfect cat." "And what is the perfect cat?" "I don't know," Akiro replied, frowning with thought. "But it's not this." And he wiped out the cat he had drawn in the mud. "Looks like a perfectly good cat to me," his mother sighed, shaking her head and wondering what would become of her odd little boy. Finally, Akiro's parents decided to send him to a nearby temple to study under the priest there. "He's not made for the fields and farming," said his father. "Maybe he'll become a learned priest," said his mother. At the temple, the students learnt to make ink, dip the brush in the ink, and write with the brush. But Akiro dipped his brush in the ink and drew cats. When he was asked to write a word, he drew a cat. When he was asked to add 2 and 2, he drew a cat. Then one day, when everyone was taking an afternoon nap, he drew cats on all the rice paper screens in the temple.
Fat cats, thin cats, chubby cats, slim cats, cats on the ground and cats in the air. Fat cats, thin cats, chubby cats, slim cats, cats on the ground and cats in the air. On books, on the floor, on the walls, on the door, cats over here and cats over there. All the boys write numbers and birds, this and that. They draw mountains and flowers. But Akiro, he draws a cat. He sees cats all the time in the number and the word, in prose and in the rhyme. Cats, 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 cats all the time. All the boys write numbers and birds, this and that. They draw mountains and flowers, but Akiro draws a cat. He sees cats all the time, in the number and the word, in prose and in the rhyme. Cats, 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 cats all the time. Fat cats, thin cats, chubby cats, slim cats, cats on the ground and cats in the air. On books, on the floor, on the walls, on the door, cats over here and cats over there.
The old priest looked at his beautiful screens, now covered with cats, called Akiro to him, and sighed. "Akiro, Akiro, you cannot become a priest," he said.
You do not have the temperament.
Akiro did not know what a temperament was, but he realized that he was being told to leave. The old priest looked at the solemn little boy, and he was filled with sadness. He wished he did not have to send him away, but he knew he was doing the right thing. Akiro was not meant to be a priest. He was quite sure of that.
Do you have any advice for me before I leave?
Akiro asked him. The priest did not know what to say. Suddenly, the words came out of his mouth, straight from his heart, without passing through his mind.
Stay away from large places. Sleep only in small spaces.
Akiro was puzzled. It was a strange sort of advice for a priest to give a student when he was sending him away into the world. The old priest was equally puzzled.
Now, why did I say that?
He wondered, and yet he felt that it was important.
Remember, he said again, stay away from large places. Sleep only in small spaces.
Akiro did not understand it at all, but a teacher's advice has to be taken with gratitude, even when it sounds odd and meaningless. So Akiro bowed low and said,
Domo,
which means thank you in Japanese, and left. He wandered around for half a day, not knowing where to go. He could not go home because he knew his parents would be disappointed and unhappy. Then he remembered that there was a large temple in the neighboring village.
They might need a student there to help them keep the temple clean,
he thought, and walked quickly towards the village because the sun was beginning to make its way down the sky. By the time he reached the village, it was almost night time. Akiro went to the temple. It was open, but it was dark and silent inside.
Anybody there?
Called Akiro. There was no answer. He stepped into the temple and stood there while his eyes got used to the darkness. A single lamp was burning in the temple, and it threw a ghostly light on the white rice paper screens that stood on all four sides of the room. In a corner was a brush, an ink stick, and a hollow stone with a bit of water in it. A very strange feeling came over Akiro. As if in a dream, he went over to the corner, dipped the ink stick in the water, and rubbed it on the stone to make ink. He dipped the brush into the ink, and then he began to draw cats. Akiro had drawn cats for years. He could draw cats with his eyes shut. In the gloom of the temple, he could barely see what he was doing, and yet, somehow, Akiro knew that the cats he drew on those rice paper screens were perfect. He could almost hear them purr. By the time he had filled all the screens with cats, Akiro was so tired he was tottering on his feet. He was about to drop down onto the floor to sleep when suddenly he heard the old priest's voice in his head.
Stay away from large places. Sleep only in small spaces.
The temple was definitely a large place. He could not go out now. It was dark and cold, and he knew no one in the village. But in one corner of the large room, he saw a little cupboard. It was dusty and musty, but it was small. He got in and shut the door tight behind him. It was certainly small. Akiro was so tired that he fell asleep at once. But suddenly, in the middle of the night, he woke up with a start. Someone or something was screeching loudly. He wondered if he should get out and look, when he heard a sound that made his blood run cold. It was the mewing of many cats. Then there were sounds of the kind that Akiro hoped he would never hear again. Screeching, scratching, blood-curdling sounds. Akiro closed his eyes, pushed his fingers in his ears, and rolled up into a tight little ball in the cupboard. After a while, there was silence, but Akiro dared not come out. He fell asleep again, and when he awoke, sunlight was streaming cheerfully in through the slats in the cupboard door.
What a terrible dream that was,
he mumbled to himself, rubbing his eyes sleepily as he tumbled out of the cupboard. The sight he saw made him gasp. In the middle of the room, lying on the floor, was a gigantic goblin rat. It was dead. Akiro stood frozen for a few moments, and then he remembered the noises of the night. Slowly, his eyes moved upwards towards the rice paper screens. One by one, he looked at the cats, the perfect cats that he had drawn the previous night. Every one of the cats had blood on its face. He had barely understood what had happened when a huge crowd of people came into the temple, led by the priest of the temple. "There he is!" they called out. "The boy who killed the goblin!" Before Akiro knew it, he had been taken to the priest's home and given so much to eat and drink that he could barely walk. "You are our savior," said the priest of the big temple to Akiro. "Long ago, in a dream, I was told that the temple could only be saved by a boy who drew cats. I thought it was the usual silliness of dreams. But still, I left the lamp and the brush and ink in the temple every night. And now, here you are. You have killed the goblin rat which has haunted the temple for years. If you will stay and be my student, I will make you the head priest of the temple when you grow up." But Akiro shook his head and smiled.
I do not have the temperament,
he said. So the people of the village gave him money and gifts and escorted him home to his parents, who were very, very happy to see him. Over the years, Akiro roamed across Japan, drawing cats wherever he went. When he grew up, he became a very famous artist. And though he grew quite old, he was always known as the boy who drew cats.
Fat cats, thin cats, chubby cats, slim cats, cats on the ground and cats in the air. Fat cats, thin cats, chubby cats, slim cats, cats on the ground and cats in the air. On books, on the floor, on the walls, on the door, cats over here and cats over there. All the boys write numbers and birds this and that. They draw mountains and flowers. But Akiro, he draws a cat. He sees cats all the time, and the number